So tell the people what TAR is.
So TAR is the Training and the Administration of the Reserves, formerly known as FTS, Full-Time Support. And that's what most people refer to it as. To me, it sounds better. FTS just rings better than TAR. I came in 2005 when it was TAR, and then it changed to FTS, and then it changed back to TAR. But TAR is really no different than active duty. We fall under the reserve umbrella. If you look up our profiles will say reserves, but we're active duty. We get the same benefits as active duty. Seashore rotation is no different than active duty. Deployability is no different than active duty. Pay advancement is a little bit different because we fall under the reserve umbrella. Our advancement quotas and just our pool is separate from the active component. So our quotas are different in comparison to active duty. And we find out our results generally 2 to 3 weeks sooner than active duty. Like, for instance, the chief results for TAR and reserves came out last week or 2 weeks ago. Last week. And then like active duty is going to find out next week. So in that aspect, it's a little bit different. But as far as, because the rumors are that TAR sailors will never go on ships, TAR sailors can't be overseas, TAR sailors will be shore duty their entire career, and TAR sailors are only going to be at reserve centers. That is some of the biggest rumors out there. That's not the case. There are TAR commands, there are squadrons, there are deployable commands. There are ships that TAR sailors can go on, depending on your rate. Some rates are less likely to go on a ship or to be stationed on a ship. And then some rates are less likely to be stationed overseas. So like, for instance, me being aviation, there are no overseas billets for aviation at all. The furthest overseas you'll go is Hawaii. But everything is stateside. But we do have some TAR rates that do have overseas billets, like your BMs, your ITs, and things of that nature. BMs also have shipboard billets. So it depends on the community, but there's really no difference. But our mission is to train the reserves. So when the true reservists that drill once a month or they actually come to those commands, our job is to train them on what we do.
So then the first time I met a FTS, what is it?
TAR.
No, what?
Full-time support
Yeah. So I was like, wait a minute. The first time I met someone that was now called TAR, it was FTS at first. It was overseas at a shore duty. So you're saying that their primary duty is to support the reservist, right? Mm-hmm. To train the reservist. So the command that I was at, it was all active duty. He was the only TAR person. Was that to train him so that when he, because...
So I'm not sure what... I'm not sure what the billeting structure of that command is, because there are some active duty commands that have TAR sailors billeted to that command. Mm-hmm. So like, for instance, I think on the aviation side, like VP62, I'm going to VP62. They also have active duty air crewmen that are billeted at that command. There are some commands that are more active duty than TAR. So I don't know what the actual billeting structure is and why that TAR sailor was at that specific command. But in general, yes, TAR, that's what TAR is. It's to train those reserves. If there are no reserves at that command, then they're just doing their job just like any other sailor. And on those times when we're not training the reserves, we're no different than active duty. We're doing our jobs.
Yeah. And I'll tell you that this person in particular, Jeff Newell, holla at you. That's like my bro, but he, we have our preconceived notions of reservist, right? And we're like, they ain't gonna really, they don't act duty now. We're about to introduce you to real work. We're about to introduce you. You about to be struggling. Man, that dude was like top tier. He was on it, so don't underestimate those TAR FTS people. He was a real one.
That's the general conversation that, especially TAR sailors that are at commands where majority of the sailors there are active duty. TAR sailors feel like they're I'm not going to say mistreated, but they're an outcast. Or they're like one of the people that nobody really, they're just a reservist because that's what they feel like we are. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people look at us and like, y'all just reserves. And it's like, no, we're not. We're active duty, but we constantly have to explain ourselves and prove ourselves because they associate us with the regular reserves.
Yeah. Hey, I'll be honest with you, man. I've been in my rate, my old rate of a damage controlman, we had TAR sailors, FTS come on the ship. And I'm not going to lie, man. Like, I didn't even know there was FTS at all until we just having a conversation. We found out. I had a DC Master Chief on a ship, and I did not know he was an FTS the whole time. He's grinding. You know what I mean? Like I was doing an inspection on him. They out there, they grinding, they doing their thing. But like you said, once that's their job, though. They was building it for that job. So it was just doing their job. But we didn't know about it. I didn't even know the difference. And then I found out, man, it's a lot of FTS sailors on ships, out there, man. So they doing their thing out there, man. Like you said, they're getting the same benefits now. They might as well be active, right? Yeah.
Well, benefits.
Speaking of that, though, is it a way they can go active?
Yes. So did we get that? Well, not often. We get more sailors that want to go TAR from active, but I've had, I would say, my entire detailing tour, I had 2 sailors that wanted to go leave the TAR community to go active, mainly because the TAR community, and that's another aspect of the TAR community I would say is a con in some aspects, is because we are so limited on billet options. So if a sailor's trying to go TAR and they're like, I really want to be stationed overseas, if they're an aviation rate, it won't happen because there are no overseas billets. But on the active component side, they can. So I've had sailors to go active duty or request to go active duty specifically for that aspect. So yeah, we do have sailors that request that. But I forgot what the question was. I just lost my train of thought.
No, we good. We're just talking about going from
sailors going from TAR
to active duty.
Active to TAR.
Yeah, so yeah, it does happen. We do. It's not often that it happens, but it does happen. But the process, that's what we were talking about. The process, they have to talk to the ECM. So the detailers only handle the actual detailing aspect of the conversion. The ECMs, which is your enlisted community managers, those are the ones that will let sailors know what their conversion opportunities are. And depending on what rate they are and their ASVAB scores and so far and so on, will let them know if they could even convert into a specific rate if they're trying to convert into, out of their current rate to another rate. But the ECMs are the ones that handle that aspect.
So if a sailor is active duty and you said that TAR is very similar, what are the benefits from going from active duty to TAR?
Smaller community. Depends on what rate they're going into. The less likeliness of being deployed or going to a ship. The less likeliness of being stationed overseas for those sailors that don't want to go overseas. In some aspects, advancement could be better. In some aspects, advancement could be worse, just because of the competitive nature of it and because the community is a lot smaller. So, advancement quotas can be very limited in that sense. So it's kind of a give and take depending on what community they're trying to get into.
Hey, Tish, you said the number one thing, not going on deployment, not being on ships. Man, everybody gonna be calling.
I didn't say not going. I said less likely of going on a ship. Because even on the aviation side, you may not go overseas, but there are some commands, depending on what platform you go on, that will deploy on a ship. So
I got you.
It depends.
Mm-hmm. That's good stuff, man.
But they gonna hear what they gonna hear.
Yeah, they definitely gonna hear what they're gonna hear. Like majority of the people that have called me about converting to TAR, the first thing they will say is, well, I heard we don't ever deploy. I'm trying to convert TAR because my chief told me that I'm only going to be at an NRC, or I'm going to be able to pick my duty station and be stationed in this location my entire career because we're only stationed at reserve centers. And it's like, who told you this? Like, what information are they gathering this, information from? And if they did gather this from somebody, did they get the full story of why that person was stationed at this location their entire career? So we get those calls a lot.